Today's presentation is all about adventure, and so I'd like you to, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to talk to the person next to you, in front of you, behind you. Don't talk to somebody you already know, and share what has been the greatest adventure so far of your life. And if nobody will talk to you, stand up and do this and find somebody else. Okay. All right, so I want to hear from who had a great adventure. Okay, tell us your great adventure.
I just got off a plane Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. from a 2-week trip to the UK with my husband on honeymoon.
Nice.
So, I'm the project manager, planner, so I had all this stuff planned and I had an itinerary, and my husband, who balances us out, he's the freestyler. So he's like, let's go do this and this. So, and we were in Scotland. We hiked up the extinct volcano off their seat, which was freezing cold and absolutely windy. And he's holding on to me, and I'm holding onto my cell phone with 2 hands because I'm going to get blown off. And I was scared, and like I say, I'd had something planned that day. And he's like, no, let's go do this instead. So,
You're still married?
I'm still married. After over 24 hours of travel on Wednesday in 3 different countries, we're still married. And I would say the one thing, I know that all of you guys were all in the same boat with being unemployed, and finances are tight, but this vacation was the best thing I could have done for my mental, my soul, my marriage. Like I say, even if it's a weekend trip with your spouse to San Antonio, leave the house. I forgot that I was unemployed. Nobody knew who I was. And then whenever I got on the plane to come back to Texas, I cried because I was like, I'm still unemployed. What am I going to do?
Now you have another income, though. And tell everybody your name.
I'm Dana McKay.
And I'll see you at the PM meeting.
Yes, I'll be there.
Okay, so Dana is a project manager for Leap to Success. Every Leap to Success project has a project manager. And so she is employed. She just the salary sucks. So she has a job.
Kathy, keeping with Scotland, Ian had a cool story.
All right, Ian, tell us your adventure.
I'm Ian Rogers, and it's interesting because I was just telling Shannon that in 1975, when I was in college, my parents were working in London. I got the chance to spend the whole summer over there. Went to Scotland, did our driving tour, and we saw the christening of a North Sea oil rig, and the Scottish Pipes played the Yellow Rose of Texas, which was odd, but it was kind of cool. So yeah, I second what she was saying, because it was probably the most interesting time of my entire life. So,
we should be recording this. Are you recording this?
We are.
But we're not. But they're not talking to the microphone, so we didn't exactly get it. So we should. Who else had a great adventure? The Julia Foray?
Yes.
Okay, come tell us your adventure for posterity. Okay, and tell them who you are and what kind of work you're looking for, and then your adventure.
I'm Julia Foray, and I'm looking for probably program evaluation type work. The last time I did that, I was working for the federal government, and we went and visited runaway and homeless youth programs, and I loved looking at the nonprofits and seeing the creative things they were doing, as opposed to the federal government where I was working. So I figured out a way to slip out of there. I joined the Peace Corps. And I went to the Republic of Congo for almost 2 years. My boyfriend at the time, fiance, said, "Oh, come home." And I said, "I'll come home if you come over here." So he did come over there. I did leave a little early, which was okay, because 6 weeks later all the Peace Corps volunteers were evacuated when war broke out in the capital due to the elections, which happens every time they have elections in the Congo. And so I only missed 6 weeks, and I also knew I was going, so I prepared my farmers to be their own experts or doing fish culture. However, as we were talking the week that he was there at my post, he said, so, you know, when we get married, who's going to be your maid of honor? And I said, gosh, I don't know. If we did it here, it'd be easy. Then it could be Jen. But at home, I just don't know. And so we started talking. And on Monday, we decided to get married. We got married on Thursday. And somebody gave us a chicken. And we had the most amazing adventure when we didn't know where to put the chicken because we didn't have a chicken cage. So I put a rock over the hole in the facilities outside and put the chicken in there. And in the middle of the night, I got up to use the facilities in the dark. I moved the rock, and the chicken went boop, 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 boop. Oh. And my husband my soon-to-be husband spent the entire next morning with a long bamboo pole and a feed sack and only one person was using this facility, and it was really pretty clean because it was fairly new. But chasing the chicken around the bottom of the hole with a lantern on a string. And we didn't want the neighbors to know because who knows what they'll think about.
That was your wedding,
wedding present. So that was my adventure.
I'm so glad we got that on tape. I cannot tell you.
It's bad to say that was a pretty shitty gift.
And I'm so happy that was not on tape.
He did catch the chicken. We tied it into he caught the chicken, we tied it into a feed sack with we tied it into a feed sack. I don't remember exactly the idea behind that. And it got its feet out the hole. And the person who gave it to me came over to visit. My door had a front door and a back door. Or my house had a front door and a back door. And so I turned so that I was facing out the back door where the chicken was, and the person who'd given it to me was facing me. And as we were talking, I kept seeing this feed sack going, boom. As far as I know, he never figured it out, unless when the chicken got away, which it eventually did, unless it went home.
A homing chicken. The next step. So, losing a job, terrifying, right? So scary. When and especially for these people that have been 18 years, Lily's been 18 years on the job. You feel so secure in your company. You know you're doing a good job, and you think you're going to be there till you retire. And then you get to choose. You're in control. You get to choose where you go and what you do next. And when it hits you too early, you're not expecting it, it's terrifying. It's terrifying because you don't know what's next. What are you going to do? Are you going to get a certification? I see. Each thing is a little bit different. Are you going to join the military? Start a business? Get thee to a nunnery. That was advice that somebody gave one time. Go back to school. Become a consultant. That's what lots of people have to do. Work for a competitor. Join the circus. You know, what are your options? Stay in bed. That's another one that sometimes people just choose. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to continue in your same old career that you had? Or is that career on the decline? Are there maybe not going to be any job openings in that industry, in that career field? Are you a dinosaur? Do you have to start something new? Can you start something new at your age? What's gonna, it is so terrifying because all you have are options and none of them sound particularly great. And so it is the great unknown, and there you go, off into who knows what. So you have some options. The option on the left, you're going to get a job. You're going to get another job. You're going to get a fabulous job. You're going to maybe get a better job, the best job you've ever had in your whole life. That would be so wonderful if you get a job that's even better, that's even more productive, someplace where you're really happy to go. Or option on the right, the other door, is this not going to work out? Are you still going to be looking for a job in another year? Are you going to be dipping into your 401ks? What is ahead of you? The great unknown is just, it's all around us, and that's one of the things that makes it so difficult to stay positive and motivated and pumped up about this whole process. That it's the unknown. And I found this great quote. One is never afraid of the unknown. One is afraid of the known coming to an end. What we know, what we are secure about, what makes us comfortable, what makes us feel safe. And when the known is over and all you have is, Star Trek going off to worlds that have never been explored before, why do people think that that's adventurous? Why do they think that's a great idea? It's terrifying to leave the secure world and go off into the unknown. Some people have that gene. How many of you think that that would be great? Be on Star Trek, go off. Richard Poe, really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Really? What about those people that they're trying to, and you, how old are you? 10? 10.
Why did you get laid off?
There's age discrimination at the high end, and there's age discrimination at the low end. But this gene of I'm open for anything, and I go enthusiastically into the abyss to see what's there. Not everybody is born with that gene. Okay. So my known ends tomorrow. And as you can see, I'm going on a trip.
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that? I am somewhat overwhelmed. And so is Shannon, I think, because Shannon already had plenty to do with Leap to Success. And now she is going to be doing Leap to Success, and she's going to be me. And so she's got 3 times the responsibility. We are going to pay her, so at least she doesn't have to do all of this hard work for nothing. But it's a daunting task, and I'm hoping that all of you will be very supportive. And we need people. We need folks to be here. So all you IBMers, tell those 576,000 people that are being laid off that they should come to a Launchpad meeting and get some bananas. All right. So the reason that I'm abandoning all of you, and don't think that I don't feel bad about that, is that my husband has on his lifelong bucket list the idea that he wants to climb and hike the Appalachian Trail. Now, we're not going to do the entire 2,200 miles from Georgia to Maine. Thank God, because what I hear about Maine is not good. Maine has 250 million acres of woods. And when you go into Maine, you have to start out with the 100-mile wilderness, when there's 100 miles where you have to carry all your food for 100 miles, and there's not really an easy way for anybody to find you if you should have a problem. So anyway, it's tough. And then at the end of Maine is a great big, really hard mountain to climb. That's the end of the Appalachian Trail. New Hampshire, which is just before Maine, is where that woman in her 60s died in 2013, and they didn't find her until 2015, and they published the news article with the report that she had died from exposure and starvation because she got lost in New Hampshire. That was published the very next Sunday following the Friday when I told Launchpad that I was going to be on this trail. So here's this old lady that dies in the woods. And anyway, so we're not doing New Hampshire, and we're not doing Maine. I have a son, however, who works for Global Foundries in New York. And so my husband's plan was that we should hike from Georgia through 12 states and then go up to where we're the closest to upstate New York, so my son can come with an ambulance and meet us. So it's only 1,600 miles. Okay, and it might not look quite as far to looking at it this way, so I put it this way. So the effervescent John Rothkev pointed out, I'm just going to repeat that for the video. He says it's all downhill. Yeah, so what am I worried about? I can take a skateboard. All right. So at any rate, there you go. So which is going to be my future? You have employment, unemployment. There's one aspect. That's another one. Those are actually not on the Appalachian Trail. It said that was a particularly aggressive, vicious form of mosquito that lives in Alaska. But the Appalachian Trail has its own critters.
Yeah.
So is this going to be my future? Quitting, giving up, disease, or is this happy little couple on the top of a mountain having a great view? Which is it going to be? So there are lots of similarities to what I'm going to be going through and what you're all going to be going through during my absence. There are 3 parts to the job search, I think, and 3 parts to the trip. And the first part starts with research. You should be researching while you're working. While you're working, you should always be very much aware of what are the industry trends. What's going on? What is the latest and greatest innovation? How are the current events affecting your industry? How is legislation affecting your industry? What are the software certifications that you need, or the certifications you need in order to continue to make yourself marketable in your industry? What's going on? Know what are the best companies to work for. Know what are the most innovative companies. Know what are, and the best companies, it's not always benefits. What are the companies that are doing the most interesting work? What are the companies that are most involved with the community? What are the companies that have a mission or values that are the same as your personal mission and values? Always be aware of where would you like to be? Where would you like to work? And then who's hiring? Who's gotten money? Where can you find that kind of information out? The Austin Business Journal is my favorite publication. It comes out every week, and in fact, it's being delivered to the Workforce Solutions office for the next 6 months. You could go ask them for my copy and get it. It's fine with me. But you can get it. You can look at it for free online. The libraries should have the Business Journal, but the Business Journal comes out every week, and that's exactly what it tells you. This company has gotten a big chunk of venture capital. Another place that tells you who's gotten venture capital is built in Austin. And at the top of their homepage, it'll say these 5 tech companies just got $54 million, and here's where they're spending it. So companies that have just gotten money are going to be hiring. So be aware of where is the money going, what kinds of companies are getting money, and see if you can be ahead of that curve. And what are the hot skills? Use Indeed for that. What are the skills that are the most marketable? The next time you talk to somebody from Indeed, which should happen every week, say, I want to find out what are the skills that are getting the most play in the Indeed postings. And I think they even have if you go into the advanced search, they have something like that. They say these are the 10 hottest skills according to their postings. And then constantly be working on your connections, your contacts in the companies where you want to work. What we had to do, we read books. Most of the books that we read were pretty terrifying. One is called somebody from Launchpad told me to read this book, AWOL on the Appalachian Trail. That guy was plagued with injuries practically the whole time that he was on the trail, but he finished it. Books and journals, there's tons of videos and things. We researched gear. When lots of these people hiked this trail, they carried 40-pound packs. Now, gear is so light that we have a 3-pound tent. We have a 2-pound pack. We have great big sleeping bags that fold up into something that goes like this. It's so the technology that has gone into backpacking makes it, you almost have no excuse for not succeeding, because number one, you spend so much money on gear, and number two, the gear is so incredible. What kind of food to take? We dehydrated 120 suppers and vacuum packed them with little silica things, and so we figured out what's going to be the best, most nutritious food, and it is not Snickers.
Darn it.
That you can take for the least amount of weight and so forth. We had to get smarter. I was a Boy Scout leader for a long time, but campcraft skills are all different, and the stoves and what you carry and what's out there, it's all different. We had to relearn how to hang a bear bag and that sort of stuff. Yes, Dave?
What about water?
Water is a huge weight, and fortunately, the Appalachian Trail, the east coast of the United States, tons of water. So you sterilize it, so you get this stuff called Aquamera, and you put 7 drops of bottle number 1 into the cap and 7 drops of bottle number 2, and you wait for it to turn yellow, and you dump it in a liter of water, and then 30 minutes later you drink it. And so, tastes fabulous. Yes.
Especially when you're hiking.
Yeah, who cares? No, it tastes really good. Yeah, it tastes really good. And sometimes, lots of times in those mountain streams, you forget that you have to sterilize it, because you just hold your canteen under a little drip, and it looks so perfect. And so, yeah. So anyway, Eastside Pacific Crest Trail, scarier because they had the drought for such a long time that the water's not as available. So good question though. So we don't have to carry much water, and that's great because it's so heavy.
When you start out every day, how much water do you
What we're gonna have,
finding?
yeah, 1.5 liters, I think, is what we're gonna take. Yeah. All right, and then people who've done the trail. So the REI and Whole Earth are full of people who've done this trail many times, and they share and they say, here's what you have to do, and here's what we did, and this is what works, and this is what doesn't work, and so there's lots of people around. And when you're looking for a job, just like Yasser Farah, he said, in 2009 I had no idea how to look for a job. You share information with each other, right? This is what worked for me. There are 3 big job clubs. I made a really good handout, which I forgot to send to Shannon. I'm going to have to do it. Comparing the 3 big job clubs, and each job club has different services. So we're hoping that when I come back to expand our services tremendously. But right now, Hired Texas, which is a job club in Round Rock that meets on Tuesday mornings, they have computer classes. They got a grant from IBM, and they offer beginner and intermediate classes in the Microsoft Office suite. And then they have these forums. They have a forum, I'm embarrassed to say, on how to file a claim for unemployment compensation. Why wasn't I teaching that? So they have these forums with all kinds of really, really good information. They have wonderful information about your LinkedIn profile, how to make your LinkedIn profile, your summary really pop. So these job clubs offer all kinds of information that are good for you. The Job Seekers Network, which is sponsored by the Hill Country Bible Church, they meet on Monday mornings. And that's the third of the big job clubs. There are lots of smaller job clubs too at various churches and groups. And they have a fabulous program for job seekers that includes help with your resume. They have a really good resume template that they like for people to use. It's an excellent template. They have interviewing help. They have LinkedIn help. So they have lots of different information that's shared. We're a good place to start because we distribute so much information about what's available to you here and there. But there are 3 big job clubs, and they're all good in different ways, and they all have good speakers. So you need mentors in this. This is a lonely path to follow by yourself. Prepare. How are you going to prepare? You need to get new skills. You need to get certifications. You need to continually be a lifelong learner, and whether you go on Coursera, one of our people took a Python course on Coursera, joined the Python users group, made connections within the Python users group that then got him a job. So constantly be learning. And if you don't want to learn anything having to do with your job, you're sick and tired of your job and all the skills associated with your job, what else do you want to learn? Learn to salsa dance. Learn to knit. Learn to arrange flowers. Learn something. Keep that mind stimulated and learning. Just so that you're a more interesting person. Get certifications, make sure that you're prepared with a cover letter and a resume. Meetups, so many people are getting jobs through meetups. So go into meetup.com, it's also covered in your handbook. But choose meetups that will put you in a smaller networking situation. If you hate those big networking cattle calls like Network After Work and Tech Happy Hour, you just want a smaller group of people that are interested in the things that you're interested in. Meetups are perfect for that. And very often, there are people that have jobs and can introduce you to people that they work with that can help you get a job. Make sure that your social media presence is top-notch. I bought the current Men's Health magazine. It's got a real studly guy on the cover, but it has an article that's on page 96 that's called something like How to Get a Job. And it highlights these 3 people, and one of them, they all got jobs through social media. One went into Snapchat and recorded a video and put it out there about why people should hire him. Here's my differentiating features that should make you want to hire me. But it's while you're standing in the line, 96. So at any rate, social media is for many people is the way to go. That's the way to market yourself. What we had to do, of course, Max, we had to get fit. This is Max. But my husband hired a trainer. He got golfing done. He's got all kinds of physical issues, so he had to get stuff done to him. He got a chiropractor. So at any rate, what do you need? We had to get permits. You can't just start hiking. You have to have permits. You got to get a shuttle driver. So there's all kinds of stuff. And you're doing social media. We did social media. So there's a blog for hikers that's called Trail Journals. And so we created a presence on trailjournals.com. And you just do /Seahawk Cheesehead. My husband chose this. He is a fanatic Seahawk fan. That would be why he's a fanatic. That's where that comes from. And so he created this. And if you want to follow us, you can follow us on trailjournals.com /Seahawk Cheesehead.
If you go to the Facebook page for Launchpad, it's already on there. You're already on there.
Thank you, Shannon. Trailjournals.com /Seahawk Cheesehead. Anyway, so there we are. And then you have to take action. So once you've prepared and you've researched, you have to take action. Identify your target companies, connect with recruiters, market yourself through social media, be an expert, volunteer, do white papers, do presentations, get the word out that you're good at what you do. Learn from your mistakes, and above all, no matter how long this takes, you can't give up. You can't give up. You got to go to work. Or you have to volunteer, or you have to put yourself up, but you have to be productive somehow, so you can't give up. And we had to do practice camps. We studied videos like crazy. We had to arrange for mail drops. We had to bug repellent our clothes. We have to repack everything and make it lighter. We have to arrange our finances. I still don't have insurance. Yikes, we're leaving in the morning. And can't give up. Can't give up. We've spread the word to so many people now that even we wanted to, we do have a plan B that involves Europe, but we can't give up. So in 6 months, if we go 1,600 miles, we figure it's going to take us 6 months. In 6 months, or less if we can't make it that long, I'm hoping that this is your future. You're all going to be working. I hope all of you are doctors, actually. I'm really hoping for that. That would be so. I'd be so proud if all of you were doctors.
Thanks, Mom.
And in 6 months or less, I will be back.
Kathy, that's not you, that's me. That's you being gone.
That woman has a beard. If you're not able to tweeze, that's what happens.